us this year. Like you say, that's number 3 right there.
Yeah, there were, trust me, plenty of times that these Lions could have halted these Bears and clung on to that 1-point lead. However, they could not get it done in that final drive. Bears able to move the chains down the field with 1 second left, hit that game-winning field goal. Your initial thoughts here. Let's start from the offensive end. Quarterback Jared Goff getting the start today after sitting out for only the 2nd time in his career with an oblique strain last week in Cleveland. He comes back. What'd you make of his performance?
Danny started off great. I mean, great. That first series was awesome. Jared looked comfortable. He looked confident. I even said upstairs he had a little swag in his walk. He completing passes, just took us right downfield, put it in the end zone. And after that, it's almost like the wheels fell off. I don't know
the wheels
what
did
happened.
Fall off,
They did. I don't know what it was. He became hesitant and everything. So I just don't know what happened with Jared after that. And not just Jared, the offense as a whole.
All right, let's send it to the head coach, Dan Campbell, who's speaking at the podium now.
Mistakes killed us, particularly offensively. Go ahead.
Can you explain what happened with the double timeout?
Yeah. Obviously, you can't do that, but we had miscommunication. Half our secondary had one call, half had the other, and banged the timeout.
How does something like that happen? You're coming out of a timeout. How does the communication?
It was a check by what they were doing, and so you don't get it until it's in the middle of the play. But it's something we had talked about. And so you don't get it pre-snap. It's a call, and it's got basically a check on it to what they're going to do and what they line up in offensively is what happened. And so we had half in one call, half in another. And so the first thing in my head is, well, we got a blown coverage, and they're about to score a touchdown. So I do it, which you can't do, and now it's penalty. But I know that he threw it out in the flat. That was about to be a touchdown. So can't do it. Stand there and watch him score, I guess. Score a touchdown. But no, it's anyway.
Before that, obviously, that drive, you guys couldn't get off the field as well as the defense played. That drive took 8.5 minutes. So what were they able to do? What were you unable to do, I guess?
You're talking about defensively there at the end? Yeah, we just look. They really came out throwing the ball early, and they were going to try to loosen up the front and try to open us up and back us up a little bit, and then they came out second half, started to run it, and did a couple of things, and look, a couple of penalties showed up that killed us, and they hurt us, and I just go back to this in general. It's now we had too many penalties there, but the penalties. Some teams can overcome them, some can't. We can't overcome the penalties right now that we're getting. But ultimately, look, defensively, I felt like they really hung in there again. And when you keep your opponent from scoring, 16 points or whatever, which is 3 weeks in a row. I mean, you ought to be able to. We need to find a way to win that game. So defensively, I know they're giving us a chance right now.
Yeah, and you mentioned the inability to overcome penalties, second and third and long. It seems like your playbook really condenses and gets conservative. Is that part of it that going here aren't built offensively to overcome situations like that? Yeah,
I mean, it's tough. Those are tough to find calls for 3rd and 32 or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I bring it up again, when your defense is playing like it is, it's you don't want to do anything to mess that up either. Now you're taking the chance of Quinn off the edge, and you hold it a little long, and you get a sack fumble, and there's a little bit of being smart. Now we did throw it deep a couple of times too on 3rd down, but so yeah, I mean the bottom line is we put ourselves in those 3rd and a mile situations, and that's on us. It's just too much, man. Those things kill you. Yeah. I mean, he made some good throws. The first drive, you come out and he hit the deep one there to Reynolds. That was good. He did some good things. Made some throws, and we just still trying to run it a little bit and establish the run. And we had a couple there, but then we get holding calls, and when you're trying to it's one thing you get holding and you're passing the ball, but when you're trying to establish the run and then you get these holding calls trying to run it, it's, I don't know, it gets a little frustrating, and you feel like it limits what you can do. Certainly. Yes, to your point, though, when you get in those type of situations, it definitely shrinks your playbook.
Do you have any idea from watching it live why there were so many holding penalties today, or what?
No, I mean, I got to look at it. I mean, I'm certainly, it's going to be the bad body positions. It'll be the stuff, we're lagging behind. Now, some of the holds, too, were, it's easy on some of this stuff to blame the O-line in the pass game, but there's a couple of these where Goff now is, he's breaking contain, and we're trying to protect him in here. We're not protecting you out there, and then it gets, so it's on everybody. It's not just, so look, everybody's got a hand in it, but as far as the run game stuff, I already know without looking, it's going to be probably sloppy fundamentals, We didn't step where we should have stepped, you're a little tired, you're a little whatever, so are they, and you lag behind and then you get caught holding, so, but.
I don't want to use it as an excuse, but back to that whole sequence at the end there, you have a whole bunch of different guys. Josh Wood was in there, one back at the time. Obviously, one slot. How much of that contributes to that not getting that check now?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to believe that. I mean, you like to think that we get it, we understand it. It had been communicated, practice leading up to that, and it's just, yeah. I mean, we did have a lot of different guys in there, but you're right. I don't want to use that as an excuse. We should know that. It was part of the game plan.
First touchdown was there this communication that you lost and running the signal something was going on before that.
No, that wasn't Austin Bryant. That was, I think he was complaining about a call, I think is what was going on. But look, there again, I bring this up. I just feel like, defensively, those guys are giving us a chance. So, we got to do more, man. We're so close. These guys, man, they fighting their tails off. But until we get out of our own way, we won't quite get over the hump.
Big loss to lose Swift in the second quarter there. Any update on the severity of his injury, or is that still kind of just wait and see?
Yeah, it's a wait and see. No, it's a shoulder sprain, so we'll see where it goes.
Same shoulder from the Pittsburgh game?
Yes. Yep.
Any more, guys?
What is your level of concern when it is week 12 and today was the most number of penalties you've had all season, that it seems to be getting worse, not getting better?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a concern. I mean, because those things are they get you beat, So it's something that certainly we got to continue to address, and because we won't be able to overcome some of these things if we don't. So I'm not concerned. It certainly aggravates me and frustrates me, but I'm not concerned. Like, oh no, what do we do? Like we're coaching them up, and we got to get them better. We will.
It's been a year now since the organization has won. By the time you take the field next week, 364 days. How do you keep that locker room together? How do you make sure that, how important is it to finally get something here to give them a payoff for what they can do?
Yeah, I mean, look, man, they all want it. I mean, it's not like we don't all go to work and we're just punching in, punching out, and we'll see what happens. I mean, we all want to win. I mean, we're playing to win. I mean, those guys, you can see that out there. And I know, it's hard to see from afar, because everybody wants the wins and losses. Not, all of us do, but these guys are like laying it on the line and getting everything they got right now. And it's just a matter of, man, we got to learn how to win. We have to learn how to win. Once we learn how to win, then we can begin to, see the fruits of our labor a little bit. But the effort is there. The effort and the fight and the fact that here we are, man. This is 3 games in a row, man. We're right there at the very end, and there again, I see improvement. I sit there and watch, and I see some of these guys getting better and better. And what encouraged me is the fact that I know the core of this team, and I know the vets we've got, and some of these young guys. I mean, these guys aren't going to lay down. They're not going to. That's not what these guys are made of, So that's what keeps me hopeful, and know that we are building something,
Dan, this was the first game. Harris has taken snaps at the nickel, but does have a lot of experience there. Why do you like him there
Yeah, we just look. Will Harris, we want to see what he can do at nickel. You know, he's been playing there a little bit, and we like how he's begun to develop. And anybody you feel like can play multiple roles really brings a lot of value to your team, to your defense. And so the fact that he can play some safety and let him just continue to grow at safety. The other thing is he's big, he's athletic, he's big, he can run, and so there's a lot of times you can play nickel to teams' 2 tight end sets, because he can hold up in there and he can help you in the run game, but yet he's athletic enough, runs good enough to cover. So that's kind of where we were, you know, that's why we like it.
I just have one other thing. Just in the moment, do you think you were aggressive enough as a play caller when you're inside now, you have the ball back? It's tough to do it. It seemed like you had some deep shots.
You think I should have thrown more?
I mean, maybe.
I saw you.
Maybe not. Maybe throw deeper. I don't know. That's,
Throw deeper.
you know, stretch that field a little bit.
Yeah.
It's easy to say. It seemed like there's
Yeah.
something piled up, but.
Yeah, I guess I'm not judging what you're saying. I get it, you know. I get there can be some frustration, but it's also, I'm mindful of how do you keep yourself in this game, continue to move the football. I mean, there were so many things that we did early in this year to where disaster happens, and it's sack fumble, and it's all this because we're trying to be a little more aggressive. And so maybe we could have, but yet, man, I feel like at the end of the day, we threw it more than we ran it, and so you're trying to do a few things, and it's just once you get in those holding calls and they're just standing there looking at you, and it's you're trying to be smart about how you're going to do it. You want to get yourself at that point in a 3rd and manageable. Just let's find a way to get to 3rd and 7, and then when you don't, now you're sitting there. It's 3rd and a mile. It's hard, but. No, I don't regret that. I still want to be able to run the football because I think it starts that way. And, I like that we threw it deep a little bit. You know, we could push the ball down the field. We got a big touchdown. But, I think you just take it where it goes, man. Give yourself a chance. We had a chance at the end, and it wasn't good enough. But I equate that not to throwing it more. I equate that to the penalties, you know.
There are things in our communities that need immediate attention, both seen and unseen. Over 500,000 Americans are experiencing homelessness. But with support from Rocket Mortgage and Built for Zero, communities are responding in a new way and proving that homelessness can be solved. In their communities and in yours. Join us.
We're going to scratch and claw and fight. And we're going to be something this city's proud of. We aren't just the Lions, we're the Detroit Lions. And we're driven by the best, by the people of this city. We are driven by Detroit.
Credit to them, credit to Andy, credit to their offense.
How about you? How'd you come out with the feeling?
I'm good.
How'd you go in feeling?
Good. Yeah, I feel good. I don't know, like, there's discomfort at times, but nothing significant.
2 offensive series, you're moving the ball pretty well, 1 in their territory, 1 near midfield, back-to-back penalties.
Right.
How do you settle an offense down in situations like that?
Yeah, I think that's part of my job, obviously, on the field, is to make sure those guys don't, we say, lose their stinger, right? They're getting these holding calls, and the false starts are absolutely on us. Those can't happen, but you can call holding on every single play. It's no excuse. We've done it too much, and I know those guys are hard on themselves up front, but back there, they can throw that flag every play. And to me, it seemed like it was a little too often on that call. Now, false starts are absolutely on us, and putting ourselves in those situations is on us regardless. But before even seeing the film, the frequency of that, I think, is not fair.
Get that one from Josh early on, just the chemistry that you have from him once you go back to LA.
Yeah, I do have trust with him. I've got trust. We got a good thing going. He understands me. I understand him. I know his body language. So hopefully can build off that. That was a fun one to hit there early on, and would be a whole lot more fun to talk about now if we had won. But it was a good one.
We've probably asked you a version of this question a few times this year, but Dan just said a lot of this is just learning how to win with the young
Yeah.
team. So how do you do that without getting the wins? How do you learn how to win?
Yeah, well, first you got to learn how not to lose, and that's something that we've had a hard time doing, obviously, especially in these close games. How do you take care of the football late in the game? How do you make stops on defense? How do you move the ball efficiently late in the game and not hurt yourself? And for me, how do I get stay in the pocket and not let those guys get moved off my spot and allow a holding call there in some instances? But it's little things like that the good teams do and do consistently, and something we're working towards, something we're on our way to, I believe, but something we're working towards.
Next man up, no excuses, I get it, but to lose a player like Swift, the dynamic that the threat
Yeah.
that he is, how much does that change, I guess, the call sheet down the stretch?
I don't know if it changed it much. There may have been some stuff that we wanted for him that we weren't able to call, obviously, but I thought Godwin filled in and did a great job, and Jamal has obviously been reliable all year, but Swift is as explosive as a guy I've ever been around, so having him on the field whenever is helpful.
This doesn't just extend to this game and the first and 32 or third and 32 situation, but it seems like when you guys do get behind the sticks, 2nd and 12,
Yeah.
3rd and 8, it seems like that playbook really consolidates, and Dan said you're not a team that really is built to overcome
Right.
penalties. I guess your thoughts as the QB in terms of what you're able to do and maybe some of the things that are taken away in those situations that maybe you think you could do better, or the offense could do better.
After we're 2nd and 20?
Yeah, well, I mean, even 2nd and 12, 3rd and 8
Sure.
situations instead of.
Yeah, well, I think like you mentioned, first of all, like Dan says, we're not quite built right now to not be efficient. We need to be efficient. We need to stay on track. We can't allow these penalties to stack up on us. And at the same time, though, like you mentioned, when we get into 2nd and 15 and 2nd and 12, the series isn't over. And I think guys, get a little bit down on themselves sometimes when we get in those situations. And again, that's part all on me, really, just making sure that I'm not getting down on myself and not letting them get down on their selves. But making sure that we still have that ability to overcome those and that mindset that we will overcome them really is the bottom line.
Are you guys too conservative in some of those situations? I mean, it sounds simple on this side to say, just throw it.
Yeah, just right. Yeah, I mean, it's putting ourselves with our back against the wall. In I don't know, was it 3rd and 30? Like, there isn't a play call for that. There isn't a play call for 2nd and 25. And what you want to do, at least in my eyes, is get yourself into a 3rd and manageable. If you happen to be in 1st and 20, a lot of teams do. You get a holding call on 1st down. You snap the next ball. Hopefully, you get to 2nd and 10 or 2nd and 12, and then you snap the next one and get to try to get to like 3rd and 7, 3rd and 6, and then you have a play to extend the drive. Like you said though, and like we've been doing, we've kind of stacked them. And when you get a couple back to back, then you're in even further territory, and it's tough. But all self-inflicted stuff, and that's the hard part, and also the encouraging part, right? Like it's stuff that we can fix and stuff that we have fixed before, and stuff that we need to continue to stay on. But also, they didn't do much to like stop us. We just kept kicking ourselves and putting ourselves behind the chains.
A couple more guys.
You talked about the holding calls.
Yeah.
Were you surprised at how many were called on running plays?
Listen, like they've got a job to do. Holding is a subjective call. We were getting them at a frequency I've never been a part of. But I could be wrong. I could go look at the film right now and be like, that's a hold, that's a hold, that's a hold. I don't know. But for the same guy to call it this for both ways, I've never been a part of that.
Last one. I know you just got here a couple weeks ago. It's a lot to put on him, but you say you're not built for it. Does Josh help you be a little bit more built?
I don't think anyone's built for 3rd and 20. Like I think that's something that we like. It's not like we're not built for it. No one's built for that. Now there are teams that can then push the ball, with certain things to gain, an advantage there on 3rd and 15 or whatever it may be. But yeah, Josh does help in those scenarios, being able to have a bigger body and a guy that can go up and get some things. And you saw him on the touchdown, obviously catch something over the top, and that is his skill set, and that should help. But at the same time, like, if we have back-to-back penalties and we're 3rd and 30, or 2nd and 30, whatever it may be, it's tough sledding for anybody.
And just the fumble.
Yeah.
You were wrapped up pretty good there.
Got to hold on to it. Yep, got to hold on to it. He hit it perfect. Inexcusable. Can't do it in their territory. Make sure I go down with the ball. It's inexcusable.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Before these Lions can win, they have to learn how to not lose. Well said by the quarterback, Jared Goff. With that said, Detroit Lions, get out of your own way. Stop shooting yourselves in the foot. 10 penalties, over 60 yards in penalty yards. Where do you even start with stats like that?
You can't. And Danny, the discouraging thing about that, a lot of these were pre-snap penalties, what we like to call mental errors. You just can't have that. You know, you can live with a penalty that you get maybe blocking during the course of a play, but a false start, things like that, you just can't live with that, and they definitely have to clean that up sooner than later.
There it is, your final stats from today's game. Bears getting the win over the Lions 16-14. The Lions were able to edge out the Bears, and the rush game 76 yards. That's yikes coming from these Lions who have really been able to get that running game going. Andy Dalton and the Bears edge out Jared Goff in the passing game. Total yards, turnovers, they're even on that. You had the Bears working overtime on time of possession, 5 extra minutes over the Lions. But Andy Dalton comes in here as a backup quarterback for rookie Justin Fields, who is out with an injury. Over 300 yards, a touchdown. But one bright spot. Detroit Lions fans were waiting for Josh Reynolds, the receiver, to show up. He did in that first series for the Lions, a 39-yard touchdown pass.
I call that the LA connection. Jared Goff to Reynolds, Josh Reynolds. You know, like you say, we've been looking forward to that. We know those guys have a history together. They played together out in LA, and it was evident on that first drive that they had that connection going. You got to credit Chicago, though. They really made adjustments to slow that connection down with them, and also to frustrate the offense. So, again, Coach always talks about the defense, getting in there and they're doing what they got to do, but the offense got to find a way to help our defense, Danny.
There you see it, Josh Reynolds' stats for the day, 70 yards on just 3 receptions and a touchdown. Welcome to Detroit, Josh Reynolds. We have to talk about running back DeAndre Swift, who is in his 2nd year in the NFL, which I know sometimes we forget. We think he's a veteran out there with how he plays. Swift did leave the game in the 2nd quarter with a shoulder injury. He did not return, and you can see it in his stats. Looking at the run game, only 3 attempts, 0 yards for DeAndre Swift. He was worked into that passing game a tiny bit. 3 receptions, 9 yards. They got practically no production from DeAndre Swift after he's coming off of back-to-back 100-yard rushing games.
Definitely was looking forward to him having a big game today, maybe trying to get his 3rd 100-yard game in a row. That didn't happen. I mean, again, Jameer Jefferson stepped in a little bit, got a little playing time. Godwin got some playing time today. Jamal was the main man that we tried to rely on with our run. And again, Chicago did a great job. They really did. That had been the strength of our offense these last couple of weeks. Chicago did a great job of shutting us down on the run and forcing us to throw the ball. And that's what you're going to look for other teams to do. They know that we can run the ball very well, but throwing the ball, they still know that's a work in progress.
Yeah, talking about running back Jamal Williams, who has been battling a groin injury. He came back last week against Cleveland, didn't do too much. Today he comes in, he is that leading back on the ground, 65 yards on 15 attempts. His longest run of the game was 19 yards. So 5 receptions on there. Jamal Williams slowly working back into this game, but he cannot do it by himself, and he certainly can't do it if DeAndre Swift isn't out there.
And he certainly can't do it when you're shooting yourself in the foot and you got penalties that keep you from moving the ball, that stops your momentum. I mean, it just hurts you. Jamal is a hard-running guy. He's going to get you those tough yards. Like me and you like to say, he's our hype guy. He's going to keep those guys going out there, but you can't do things like what we've been doing. Fundamental things too, Danny. You just can't have it when you're a struggling team because you just can't overcome those things like that.
Exactly what head coach Campbell said. Yeah, you're alluding to the consecutive penalties.
Oh, my God.
3 penalties consecutively here for the offense in that first half, and then they do it again here in the ending frames. Lions cannot work themselves out of those kind of situations.
I've been in football over half of my life.
A long time. moment.
a long time. I've never seen that where we had consecutive penalties, 3 in a row, and then we do it twice in the game in separate series. I mean, it just kills you. And I mean, you're talking about 30, 40 yards worth of penalties. So again, they're going to definitely have to clean that part of the game up, because anything else you do, it won't matter if you keep getting penalties and keep backing yourself up like that.
I'm going to name a couple of MVPs for this game.
Okay.
For the Lions, actually. I mean, puntman, stuntman,
Yeah.
Jack Fox. Look, he has his longest career punt of the day.
Yeah.
Granted,
Woo!
kicking out of their own end zone,
Right.
punting out of their own end zone. It was going to probably be down at the midfield line.
Yeah.
Bobby Price, helping out the fam, bounces off his helmet, bounces down to, the 16-yard line.
Yes.
70-yard career punt for Jack Fox. He's my first MVP.
Yeah,
We
I
love
was
that
a
play.
little shocked that they kept it spotted there, because normally where it's hit at, they'll bring it back to that spot. But you're right, it was super.
Chicago, the holding play.
There you go,
Yes.
exactly. Look, you got no complaints out of us. We'll take it. When they give us a
I
break,
will
we'll
take
take
that.
it.
It's just, it was very, yes, it was it was very on par. And then Amani Oruwariye, the cornerback, 3rd year in this league, 5 interceptions on the season. He recorded another one today. My favorite part, the new media team here at the Detroit Lions had him mic'd up, so you will get to hear the behind the scenes of that interception. But Amani just keeps showing up. One of the youngest players, well, actually, he's one of the oldest players in the secondary,
right. He's
considering
the
how
old
young
guy.
they are. But two tackles on the day, 2 passes defended in this one, and a big interception at a critical moment.
You know, he's working his way into being one of those cornerbacks that you have to circle when you game planning against the defense. He's working his way to being one of those type of players. Seems like every week he's making plays, or he's in position to make a play, and it seems like we're going to have him now. He'll be the guy that goes on the opposing team's best wide receiver, because to me, besides Jerry Jeudy, I think those might be our 2 best defensive backs playing right now. And of course, you know I love my guy Tracy Walker. He brings that thump out there every week. But Amani Oruwariye, he's playing at a high level right now.
Amani is going to get paid here in the near future, that is for
Yes.
sure. Let's talk about Levi Onwuzurike, his first career sack for the big man. We love to see it.
Yes, Danny, look, I want to see them play him more. I really would love to see him, especially lining him up with Aleem McNeil. I think those 2 young guys are starting to come into their own. Levi, man, he's showing up. I mean, he is really flashing when you turn on the film. Had the field goal block last week. A guy that's just continued to make plays. He was in the backfield a lot, making penetration plays against the Chicago Bears team. So I'm just looking for him to get better and better as this season goes on. So it seems like the future's going to be bright with those 2 guys up there.
It sure does. Okay, let's take a look back at, we're going to call it the play of the game.
Uh-oh, I like that.
You like that. All right. The Lions opening drive for Bears here in Week 12. Jared Goff drops back, steps up, finds wide receiver Josh Reynolds down the field, 39 yards to the house. You talked about it, that LA connection, and Jared Goff saying, yeah, we're familiar with each other. I spent 4 years with him. I know what his body language looks like, and that is a result of a big play right
You're
there.
absolutely right. Beautiful route by Josh Reynolds, and Jared Goff just laid the perfect pass up there, beat the defensive back. That was just a big play, and that was just a great way to start the game off, too.
So keep it
Oh,
going.
my God. Thank you. I mean, I just don't know what happened to make them change either their philosophy or what they were doing. But like they say, if it's working, keep doing it. Keep giving them a dose of it each and every time. It's great to see him get that connection with Jared Goff. It's great to see those guys hook up.
You sure do. I mean, TJ Hawkinson had a big catch, a big touchdown catch in this one, too. The first touchdown score since, do you know when? Week 2.
Wow,
in week
that's
12.
shocking. That really is. That really is, man. And TJ's been our weapon. But maybe it's not as shocking, Danny, because I knew teams were going to concentrate on TJ and try to take him out the game plan. That's why we need other guys to step up, like a Josh Reynolds.
Alrighty. Let's get your final takeaways from this game.
Danny, disappointing,
Okay.
to say the least. This is such a tradition. I know when I played here, all the guys that I played with, this is a game that we wanted to win. It was almost a must-win for us. Yes. So it's disappointing that we lost the game. There's some things that you could take out of here as a positive, but it's a lot of things as negatives that you have to look at. They're going to have to go back to the drawing board and keep trying to clean up some of these things like these turnovers and penalties. That's the only way this team is going to be able to get their first win. You just can't keep shooting yourself in the foot and expect to win the game.
I know. Could that first win come next week against the Minnesota Vikings?
It's going to be tough. It's a home game, so I'm not saying it couldn't happen, but it's a tall task going against this Minnesota team that's playing pretty good right now.
Woo, okay, yeah.
A lot
Week
of purple.
12.
A lot of purple coming here next week.
Stay home, Purple. Don't come to Ford Field. At one point today, I really couldn't. Yeah, okay. Stay home, Purple. We don't need you here. I'm not going to lie. All right, yeah, Lions, Bears, Week 12 behind us. Chicago coming to Ford Field, getting the 16-14 win on Thanksgiving. They now got to get back on a plane. Maybe Chicago get some turkey. Lions, they are feasting on some turkey here now.
Yes.
We're about to.
Oh, yeah, we about to
So
feast.
we need to go. First
That's
off,
right.
before we go, I know you have
Okay.
no dog in this fight, but Michigan, Ohio State, who you got?
You know what? I would love to see the blue and maize win, but
Okay.
I got to go with the scarlet and gray.
I don't
Scarlet
know.
and
I think
gray? Oh,
go blue.
okay.
Go blue. Stop it.
Oh.
Stop it,
I'm
Lomas.
sorry, Danny. I'm sorry.
No, you're
I
not.
know.
You're not sorry for the pain you inflict on me. Go blue. All right, that's it from Lomas Brown, Danny Rogers. The final from Ford Field, 16-14. Bears walking away with a Thanksgiving win. We will see you back here next week. Lions taking on those Vikings in Week 13. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Stop to eat.
There are things in our communities that need immediate attention, both seen and unseen. Over 500,000 Americans are experiencing homelessness. But with support from Rocket Mortgage and Built for Zero, communities are responding in a new way and proving that homelessness can be solved. In their communities and in yours. Join us.
We're going to scratch and claw and fight. And we're going to be something this city's proud of. We aren't just the Lions, we're the Detroit Lions. And we're driven by the best, by the people of this city. We are driven by Detroit.